to Shooting Womp Rats, where I have completely lost my mind. Wait a minute. No, I'm Daniel.
I'm Don.
Yeah, this is the first Shooting Womp Rats of the new year. Can you believe we've made it through a year? Well, not at this, but...
Craziness, yeah. What are we at now? This is 16 or 17?
Yeah, 17 weeks, give or take.
And how long has the Star Wars community been together since...
It'll be a year this month.
Is it? I thought it was until, like, March.
That's a good question. I have no clue now what exactly the date was I created it.
Yeah, well, I'm feeling pretty lucid. I've had my meds today.
Yeah, lucky you.
Lucky me. That and my lucky Diet Dr. Pepper. Hold on while I go.
No.
Oh, a great vintage of Diet Dr. Pepper it is, too.
Now, you guys can't see this, but I'm holding my fingers very close together because that's how close we were to almost having Cheshire back on here.
Yeah, he bailed. He had supper plans or something like that.
Because we were just going to snatch him off the street, throw him into a van, and see where it ended up, but...
Yeah, it's my understanding it include like rubber gloves, baby oil, some other stuff like that, maybe even a mask and feathers. I don't know, but, I got freaked out. I ran.
So, on to the news. And, of course, being the news, Don.
I apologize.
Go ahead, Don. Tell us about your posts.
Oh, I fell for it. I even fell for it. All right. Moving on, now that no one's at the teletype, hopefully. This week, Adventure Seed Monday is a bit unique in that it has the mission type. It's going to be an extortion or frame up. Kind of cool, little nefarious there. The terrain will be a glacier. The mission complication is going to be a moral quandary. Imagine that. The opposition is going to be an entire sector government, and there's no special hazard this week. I don't know, Daniel, that's got the makings of espionage written all over it.
Yeah, I usually make out a little adventure and put it underneath, but I haven't had a chance to this week. I need to get on getting gear on that one.
It's the whole Christmas thing, man. You got that downside of Christmas, getting ready to start up the new year. Everybody's a little tanked. It's the end. I get it. Communities have been pretty. I don't know. Just not a lot of movement going on right now. People are just doing the family thing. It's cool. So let's see. We also had Random Adventure 12 this week. Character Tuesday saw Dorm Lavish, an ex-TIE Fighter ace, which I really, really liked. I didn't get a lot of the background written up yet. I'm going to, though. But did you see his stats at all, Daniel?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I even did a little work on the background
I see it.
To incorporate the injury.
Oh my, yeah. I hadn't really decided what the injury was, and for those of you who may not have seen the post, which is up in the G Plus communities, the brief write-up or synopsis I gave was an ex-Imperial TIE Fighter ace, now forgotten and pushed out of the service because of an injury, and this guy is not happy. In fact, at first working with pirates, then gang bosses, and now working for the Alliance. I thought there was a lot there, and this is definitely going to be an NPC, guys, because I sat down and figured out the exact character point cost for this character. Did you see the number on that, Daniel?
Oh, yeah, 300 something?
385.
Yeah.
It's like Darth Vader, who? It's not that bad, but he's up there. But I like the character a lot.
I agree.
So, all right. Did you want to tell anything about the background? You're gonna let people kind of, wander in and check it out. Make them think about it.
Well, I'll give a little bit of it.
Right,
He
throw it out there.
was first as an academy class. His injury happened during the Battle of Yavin. He ended up being rescued during the SAR phase of the battle when the Imperials were pulling out of Yavin after they were ravaging what was left of the base after the Death Star was destroyed. After that, things went downhill for him. He finally took his retirement, said, I'm leaving, and that's when he changed his sides.
I like that, the idea behind the character is that he was really gung-ho about his service.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave everything he could. And as soon as he got like an injury or something like that, they just went, you're replaceable. We'll order up another bolt. We'll order up another, cog to fit into the Imperial machine. And he basically just very disenchanted with the Empire. Went off, worked with pirates, which is something you would almost never see an Imperial do, especially an Imperial Navy. Involved with gangsters and stuff like that. I don't know. I think it's a fascinating character.
I like the character. I mean, when I start investing into one of your characters, you can tell I like it.
Absolutely. Some of those advanced characters, I mean, they got some cool stories that can be there. Maybe even some short fiction. Tell you what, we'll move on. Let's see. Rumor Wednesday. A terrorist attack has destroyed the Imperial Citadel on Coruscant. Could be true. Might not be. Could be terrorists. Could be the Emperor. Never know what kind of mind game he's playing. Planet Thursday. Gani, a temperate terrestrial planet made up of one supercontinent. Its primary feature is plains that have been awash in vast, slow-moving water, leaving behind deposits of rock formations similar to geodes. These formations are mined for various uses and sold off-world. It's home of 8 million sentients ruled over by an imperial governor. And that is what I've got for this week's little things.
To go ask you a quick question about your planet generation. Are you using those optional rules for planet generation that are in the optional rules resource?
No, I have not. I'm still doing it old school and then adding some flair.
Oh, okay. You should have a look at that sometime. It's somewhere in the page 60s, I think, of the book.
Are you trying to say that you've got it edited up into the page 60s, Daniel? Is that what you're trying to say?
I threw away my last page of notes on it, but I think I'm up into the 70s now.
Oh, 70s.
Yeah.
That book is half edited then.
And I am closing in on the end of Asylum as well.
Sweet. I am really looking forward to that.
And as for my character of the week, Star Wars gave me a great one. Admiral Giant Screw-Up Ozzel.
Was he the arrogant guy from Hoth?
Mm-hmm.
Thought he knew better than Vader?
Well, pretty much, yeah. He actually
bad career choice there.
He was born from a wealthy family, and he figured that would carry him through his naval service. He thought he had the strategy down, but he had no real sense or grasp of field tactics, and that was one of the bad things about him. And he was transferred to the Executor because Command wanted Vader to notice this guy and either kill him or put him in his place.
Oh my God, ISB wanted to get him whacked?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
He was overstepping his bounds. And that's exactly what happened when he ordered the fleet to come in too close to Hoth instead of following Vader's tactic of coming in at the edge of the system and then bringing the forces in. They could have overwhelmed the rebels right then and there, and that would have been it.
I believe, if I remember correctly, wasn't he the one that would said, why are we worried about this? They're just a bunch of pirates.
Yep.
And Vader went, that's it. You can check out.
He was. And he was demoted that way, folks.
That's right, man. Don't piss with Vader. Don't wee-wee in his cornflakes. I'm telling you right now, the man does not appreciate it. I don't care if you're diabetic or not, man. He'll put his own sugar on.
Well, stepping from the news, we head back over to the buffet.
The Ronto all-you-can-eat buffet. Houdini!
Now, Don has been, of course, busy at work adjusting the mechanics of our favorite system, and he's added in a couple new things. I'm going to start with talking about dual wielding. Don's write-up on this is that a character may use two weapons, and this is considered two actions, and will be assessed a multi-action penalty. Offhand usage is at -2 die, plus the multi-action penalty.
That is correct, and I have to prelude the discussion about this dual wielding weapons. I hate it. It's not something that is easy to do with the Star Wars rule mechanics, and ever since Jango Fett lit up Obi-Wan Kenobi in Attack of the Clones, everybody and their freaking neighbor wants to dual wield weapons. But basically what happens is it's two attacks that take place in a single action phase. And so what happens is that's considered two actions right off the bat. So -2d on one hand, so they'd be minus, oh goodness, I'm trying to remember that. Offhand use, okay, so it's -1 with the first hand and -3 with the other. I don't know. I haven't play tested it yet. We'll take a look at it. I also have some additional dual wielding weapon rules that I might post later this week and see what people think of it by next week. Maybe we'll talk about that, see which one people like. But again, I haven't play tested. I mean, your thoughts on it, Daniel? I mean, it looks quick and it looks easy and it kind of answers the question.
It does, and of course there is, and we've got to work in ways eventually to offset the offhand We've got to work in ways to offset the offhand penalty, because sooner or later people are going to say, look, we want an ambidexterity ability or training to do this.
Well, actually, a third option that I was kicking around was just to do away with using Blaster completely and actually make a new skill called Dual Weapon Blaster. And they would have to roll against that. I can't remember exactly. I don't have my notes in front of me. I was just kind of spitballing and throwing stuff on paper. I don't know. I'll get it later and take a look at it. I'll share it with you. Maybe we'll talk about it next week.
I'm good with that.
Okay. Another thing that I posted this week was an optional initiative thing. It's called Initiative Holding in Action. In Star Wars, the rules as written do not allow a person to hold their action. It's either their action that round, or they use it or they lose it. And I always thought that was kind of odd, but what I've done is a character may now declare that they're going to hold their action to see what the opposing group or groups are going to do, which I think is just good role playing. Now, if the character does nothing for the action during that initiative, it will stay the same and they just lose their action for this round, but they will still be assessed the MAP for it, the multi-action penalty, because even though they didn't perform an action, they were intently studying the other groups. So it's not going to change that. Now, if the character wants to interrupt another person's action, they must make an opposed perception check. The highest person goes first. Now, whether the player wins the contested roll, or not, their initiative order is now reset to the order he interrupts at. So, for example, say he's got initiative 10, he waits, the bad guy draws or attempts to draw his blaster on 6, he makes an opposed roll on 6, he makes it, he can go before the other guy does. If he fails, then he goes after the guy. But anyway, his initiative will reset to 6 until the scene changes, or is acted upon by opposite forces, or something new is introduced. My thoughts on it. What do you think, Daniel?
A lot of players, at least from what I've been reading, agree that the initiative mechanic is not the best out of the system, and comparing it to other initiative systems as well. And I like what you're doing here. Hopefully this can get play tested soon, maybe in one of your adventure nights, and we can see how it goes.
Absolutely. In fact, that is something I can easily introduce, and I'll ask the guys what they think.